Well, almost everybody experiences disappointment at some time in their life, or maybe even many times in their life. And the first time I remember ever feeling the feeling of disappointment and learning that God can actually use disappointment to build character in our life was when I was about 9 years old. I was so excited because we lived out in the country. We had a little farm out there, and my dad worked as a kind of a sharecropper on the farm. And we didn't have any pigs at that particular time, but they were having a contest at the county fair in October, and they were going to have what they called a greased pig contest. And what they would do, they would take all the boys that wanted to participate, we'd all take our shirts off, and they would rub grease all over our stomach and our arms, and then they would take a little pig that was just a few months old, and they would rub grease all over that pig, and then they would put us all in a big pen. They'd turn that pig loose, and they said whoever catches that pig and picks it up and carries it over and drops it in this box gets to keep the pig. Well, I was so excited about the possibility, and I went out to my cousin, my uncle's house, my cousin and my uncle, and Uncle Adele, and I told him about it. He said, well, Nicky, I'll tell you how to catch that pig. I guarantee you can catch it. And I said, really? How's that? He said, well, here's what you do. He said, first of all, you reach down and grab you some sawdust and throw it up on your arms and chest so it won't be quite as greasy. And then when you grab that pig, don't try to grab it like this, but reach your hand across this way and grab its back legs, reach this hand over and grab its front leg, and then just flip that pig up like that and hold it up next to you, and you'll catch it. He said, let's practice, because he had a little pig, and he greased it up, and he greased me up. And the first few times, it was a little hard for me, but I got to where, after practicing all day long, I got to where I could catch that pig in just 7 or 8 seconds. It was just nothing to it. And I thought, I'm going to catch that greased pig. And I thought of 2 things. Number 1, I'd get a pig. But number 2, I thought all my friends are going to look at me and say, wow, you caught the pig, caught it so fast. You set a record. So I dreamed about it and thought about it. Well, about 3 days before the greased pig contest, I had we call it a rising, but it's a boil. It's kind of like a great big pimple that came up right here on my elbow. And at first, I didn't think much about it, but by the second day, it had gotten pretty big. And my mother looked at it and she said, I think we're going to have to take you to Dr. Tate's and have that lanced. Well, lanced didn't sound very good to me, because I knew what they would do was take a knife and cut it open. But the day before the greased pig contest, that had gotten so big and so sore, she said, we need to take you down to Dr. Tate and get this taken care of. So we did, and he sprayed some cold stuff on it, and then he cut it open. I cried and everything. And then he got all that yucky junk out of it. He bound it up, and he said, now, you have to be real careful for the next 3 days and make sure you don't do anything where you could get any dirt in it. And I wasn't even paying any attention. I just wanted him to know. I said, well, guess what I'm going to do tomorrow? I said, I'm going to catch the greased pig at the fair. He said, no, you're not. I said, oh, yes, I am. He said, no, you're not. I said, well, yes, I am, because I've been practicing and I know how to catch it. And I looked at my mother, and she sided with him. And she said, no, you're not. Well, I went to bed that night just crushed. I felt so much disappointment. I thought, I've practiced, I've dreamed, I've planned. I know what's going to happen. But I knew I couldn't do it. The next morning when I woke up, my mother said, well, Nicky, you want to go down to the fair and watch the boys chase the pig? And first I said no. But then I thought about it, and I thought, well, I would like to at least see who's going to catch it. So we went down to the fairground, and we went where all the people were gathered, people standing up on the fence and looking at all these boys, all of them my age, my friends, and they were greasing them all up, and they greased this little pig up, and they said, go, and they turned that pig loose, and I watched those boys chase that pig, and one of them would grab it and try to hold it like that, and poop, it'd just squirt out of their arms, and another one would grab it and hold it, and it'd squirt out this way, and I'm thinking, they don't know how to do it. But finally, after about 20 minutes, Barrett Stevens caught the pig, and he didn't catch it the way I would have, but he finally got it, and he took it over and dropped in the box, and everybody just clapped and applauded. And well, I say everybody, I don't think I applauded too much, but after it was all over, I thought, well, maybe I ought to at least go tell Barrett congratulations. So I went up to him and I said, Barrett, congratulations. I'm glad you caught the pig. And he said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. He said, I live in town, and my dad has the appliance store, and well, I can't keep that pig. Do you know anybody that might want a pig? I said, yeah, I do. I'd love to have that pig. He said, well, you can have it. Even though you didn't catch it, you can have it. So I ended up with the pig, and I got to raise that little pig myself. So I was very disappointed, but sometimes God turns our disappointing moments into some surprising happy endings, and that's what I hope you learn from this story.